Hello folks, so we're finally here for this update. Apologies it's been so long. I've just been so busy with everything, having new bathroom fitted and work, etc. And I wanted to do a nice long full update on my system and everything that's been going on. So I can only really do this during the day, so during the day I have time, I work at night. So here we are with this update. I've had to cover up, taking CJ's advice, covering up any other light sources. I've got quite a bit of light coming from the kitchen there, but I don't think it's causing any reflection. So this has just been an experimental video to see how it comes out really. So yeah, I've covered the window up that's right opposite the tank. So hopefully you get a better image of the tank with no reflections on the glass. The lights are on their automatic light cycle at the moment, the 12-hour cycle. They're about 55% colour and 55% brightness at the moment. So we'll experiment with that to see what the best lighting is to take these videos in the future. But yeah, so this will just be great to see. Watch this video back just to see what it comes out like. I am recording. I took someone's advice. I can't remember your name, to record it in 60 frames per second. So it's in that height. It's in HD mode, 1080 at 60 frames a second. I'm hoping to have enough space left on the memory. It's a Galaxy S6 smartphone, so I think there's about 20% left on the memory. So I've got to clear some old videos out and stuff. But so hopefully I'm going to time this. I think there's about half hour's worth of video. So I might have to do this update in 2 parts. So right, I've just got in. It's just gone 1, but I've just got in and had some lunch. And of course, the first thing you do, existing reefers with anyone with marine tanks or reef tanks, when you come in, from being out, the first thing you do is check the tank. So the first thing to do, check the tank. Yeah, all good, be fine. I did notice before I put my lunch on, the scrambled egg and that, I did notice there was a little droplet of water on top of the rim, the glass at the top on this side, and well, that's strange. Probably just a fish flicked near the surface of the water. Occasionally it happens. So I go out, start making my lunch, and this tank's been running 7.5 months now, and obviously, as you can see in the video update, there's nothing covering. I've got no lid, no screen covering the top. I think that would really spoil the look of these lovely reefer rimless tanks. But so yeah, never bothered. Anyway, you know what I'm going to say? I'm doing my lunch. Come back in as my scrambled eggs in the microwave. Come back in there. My dogs. I've got 3 dogs, and one of them's looking strange, sniffing down in this corner. I'm thinking, what? There's a fish, or my algae blenny, my lawnmower blenny. He's flicking her about on the floor and in the carpet. So straight away, bit of kitchen roll, boom, straight back in again. So how long he's been out for, I don't know. Probably a good 5 minutes plus out of the water. So I've chucked him back in. Of course, the tank's all into. I don't know what's going on with the tank at the moment with the fish. They're all hiding away. And I think it might be something to do with me blocking the light out. They're so used to during the day, light coming through, not direct sunlight, but light coming through from that window. Because directly I go to cover that window up, they'll start acting strange and hiding away. And usually they're out and about, the chromis are up in their pack, all the other fish are in and out, you can see them all. Anyway, the algae blenny is, well, when I put back in, he was still alive and breathing, his gill movement. He's gone behind the rocks. Hopefully, he'll be okay. Time will tell. Obviously, I'll update next few days to see what. I'm hoping to spot him actually swimming about. Just put a tiny bit of algae flake in there just to see if I can tease him out. But no, he's well and truly in there, in the rocks. Hopefully, he hasn't died. So all the other fish are acting very, very strange at the moment. So this is a bit annoying because I want to do this update and show you the tank properly. But yeah, so okay, so we get going with it. We're 7.5 months in now from the start. There's loads I've got to go through. I want to cover really. I've jotted down. You've probably noticed from my last updates, there's a slight change to the scape, the optical scope. The reason I did that is just to get some of the corals positioned a little bit closer to the surface and stuff, and to get a little bit more open rock work so flow can get in and out. So that's the scape. Obviously the scape won't stay like that. We're always thinking about with our scapes, as you know, you're never really happy with it. No doubt this won't stay like this, but until I get the system stable and I've got more stock in it, more coral stock in there, I don't know where to put stuff. Obviously it will change, but I put my green star polyps up the top because that's getting really big now, and I don't want it spreading over my whole expanse of rock. So I thought I'd put it up high, no doubt because it grows up, it'll grow. The idea is to get it round this overflow box, so it's swaying around this overflow box. Of course, it's easy to cut away and frag off, and keeps it up out of the way of all the rest of the rock, disturbing any other corals. So that's there, and it is just starting to attach on that side. There's another colony of it there, which I'm hoping will go on that side of the wall and spread up round. Okay, so that's the scape covered. I want to go through, basically, I've been watching loads of videos. Thanks everybody for subscribing to my channel. We're up nearly 1,500 subscribers now, which is amazing. Can't believe it, it's still growing by day. And been watching lots of videos regarding filtration, biological filtration and nitrates, etc, etc. What I'm going to go through quickly is my parameters on this tank. I've decided to go, I've been experimenting over this few months with water parameters, and decided to bring my alkalinity down because I was getting this white chalk line on the rim, and so because I was running the alkalinity at like 12.6, so I've brought that down to near a 9. And if you go into aquatic log online, put in Sea REEFER in the search banner, it will come up with everything I do on this tank, maintenance wise, and what my parameters are. If you hover the mouse over the temperature, it says what I did or what maintenance I performed on that day. And if you hover the mouse over, say, calcium, the figure of 450 or whatever, it will say what I'm dosing per day of Reef Foundation, Red Sea's Reef Foundation, A, B or C. So I've decided to lower my alkalinity to around 9, put my calcium up from sort of 450 nearer to 500, and bring my magnesium up as well from sort of 1350 up to 1500. The reason I'm going to bring the magnesium up just to make sure that calcium and alkalinity are staying separate from each other and staying keeping in solution in the water without precipitating out. Because magnesium is very important for that, to have the correct level of magnesium. If magnesium is too low, calcium and alkalinity stick together easier and precipitate out the tank. It's very complex and quite hard to understand, but that's generally the gist of it. You have to run your magnesium at 3 times what you're running your calcium. Well, that was the old rule anyway. So, but it seems to stick well with the balance of everything. So calcium between 450 and 500, magnesium between 1450 and 1500, and alkalinity around the 9. And so that's been running now for a week or so, but maybe not quite a week. But yeah, I've noticed the carbonate build up around the edge of the rim of the tank is definitely significantly reduced. My heater was always covered in that calcium build up or carbonate build up all over it. So yeah, I think it's just running such high alk, it can be a right pain. But it's supposed to be good for good growth. But we'll see. I'm going to try the elevated calcium now and keeping the alk around 9ish, and that's in between, just above seawater level. We've got to keep an eye on the time. We're nearly 10 minutes into this video already. And I apologise if I'm rambling. What I'm going to hopefully do on my next update is to do shorter videos of just specific subjects or things that have happened. Still trying to keep an eye out for that algae blenny. It's in there somewhere. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, I'm testing loads, all parameters, just to keep an eye and make sure everything's all tickety-boo. Now this tank's maturing nicely. It's 7.5 months old. And here goes, these are the 2 major ones that most people struggle with, phosphates and nitrates. Man, this tank is non-existent, phosphate nitrate. Testing on Salifert test kits, which I religiously use all their test kits for everything, which I believe they're quite accurate and universally relied upon as being good. So yeah, undetectable virtually. I did have a slight reading of nitrate, but not even 1 part per million. It sort of goes 0.2, 0.3, but then you test a few days later, it's you can't see any tinge of pink on that Salifert kit at all, 0. And phosphates, again, cannot get any, it's crystal clear that water in the glass on the phosphate kit. I mean, there must be a tiny trace of phosphate and nitrate in this system. Must be, because I feed 2 or 3 times a day, flake, frozen, and I've started to use reef fluids as well for the past couple of weeks. Yeah, but staying down. Now, why that is my thoughts on that are, which I want to go through, to filtration, biological filtration. Obviously there's live rock in there, there's about 23 kilograms of live rock. But it is very encrusted with coralline algae, which obviously really hinders its performance. It sort of covers the pores over and stuff, so it hinders the performance of its filtration qualities. So what I have put in the sump, as I've mentioned in other updates, is I've put in just a handful, maybe just over a handful of Biohome Ultra, which is a sintered glass biological media. I don't know if I can show you it. I did get a tiny piece out to show you. If you go onto eBay and just tap in Biohome Ultimate Marine, this is the Biohome Ultimate normal one, which I used before they made the marine one. I think the marine one's just got trace elements in it or whatever. But I don't know if you can see sort of so size of it. Probably won't show up on the camera because it's dark in this room. Yeah, there's just a netted bag of that in the last chamber before it gets returned back to the tank. Now, apparently, you know, this might be the reason why I've got such low nitrates, because I'm not running biopellets, as you know. Say feeding medium. I didn't say I'm heavy feeding, but it's a medium bioload in this tank. I'm feeding medium. You'd think you'd have nitrates 5, 10 parts per million. If you do, that's even if you're doing good maintenance, good water changes, because this tank only gets 10%, 10% a week, 0 nitrates, and I think what it is inside the centre of this media, a certain type of bacteria grows with this very low oxygen, and feeds off the nitrate. So that may be the reason why that is. Might be because there's quite a large protein skimmer on it, the Deltec SC1351, rated for 500 litre system. You always double your capacity on the skimmer. Never buy a skimmer for, say this is 250 litre tank, don't buy a skimmer that's rated for 250 litre tank. Always buy one that's twice the size, twice the capacity. Religious maintenance, 10% water change every single week. I've done a few weeks where I've done more than that, sort of like 3 or 4 extra ones in between, just to boost up trace elements really. The elements that I'm not testing for and I don't know what the levels are, which I've recently done sort of 5 or 6, 10% water changes, so 10% every day through the week, just to boost them levels up, not to reduce nitrate phosphates because there's 0 anyway. Yeah, so that's the filtration side of it. Biopellets, you know, great. I will use biopellets in the system if I need to. The nitrates start creeping up, and sort of 10%, 20% a week water changes can't keep them below sort of 2 parts per million. Then obviously I have to go biopellets route. But at the moment, you'd think by now, 7 months in, I would have to be taking that sort of action. But no, 0, absolutely nothing. And phosphates the same. Phosphates are testing 0, and all I use is Roaphos in a Phosbound 150 reactor. Change it out once a month, put about 200 ml of it in, and that keeps phosphates at 0. Right, so maintenance wise, I'm just, like I said, I do 10% water change every week. The day before I do the water change though, I get a turkey baster and I blow through all the rocks, all the sand and whatnot. I just get it all up, it's suspended into the water column to be taken down into the filter socks. And then once that's all settled, any leftovers settled, I then put a sand siphon hose in and basically run the hose down into one of the filter socks. Keep the whole system running still and just have a good sort of 10-15 minutes of hoovering all the sand I can get to with the siphon all into the filter socks. So there's hardly any detritus kicking around. Obviously you will always have a little bit of detritus kicking around with bits you can't get, but as long as you blow it all out with the turkey baster and hoover as much as you can, obviously it's going to be at a very minimal level. So that in conjunction with 10% water change every week, that biohome, who knows, it might be a combination of all these things or why the nitrates are so low. These fish are definitely know that something's different. I think it's the window being covered up, I'm sure. Anyway, moving on. Problems wise, because this I'll go through each coral, take the camera off the tripod in a minute and go through each coral individually and give you some close-ups, but everything's doing really well coral wise. So we had some real slowdown with growth. Why that was I don't quite know. It might be nutrition, that's why I decided to try reefroids. So reefroids I've probably been feeding for a couple of weeks now. Some good reviews of it. I don't know, things are looking a lot better. Whether it's because of me adjusting my parameters, or flow, or lighting, or feeding this, I just don't know. That's the thing. When you change more than one thing and something changes, good or bad, it's very hard to decipher which one made that difference. But you know, and it could be a combination of all these things. So you just got to do what you can and experiment and get your gut feeling really. I think it's because feeding these reefroids giving my corals a little bit of nutrition, and they've started to regrow again now. So yeah, my LPS, I'll go through each coral individually and update you on those actually, I think. So there is some problems with this system, and the only things I'm not happy with, and that is I've held back on putting the other corals in. I want to put a lot more SPS corals in there, some LPS down the bottom, maybe torch coral, hammer corals, stuff like that down the bottom here, and obviously some more SPS corals at the top. But the reason I've held off is because I want to get the system stable and to see whether these easier to keep SPS corals fare well and grow. Once I've got that down, and then I know that I'll have a good fighting chance of keeping the more sensitive SPS corals like acros and stuff. So yeah, that's where I am. Over the next few months I just want to make sure that I can get everything nice and stable, get the parameters where I know that's a sweet spot, and once the existing coral stock I've got is doing really, really well, then I shall take that plunge and buy lots more corals. So that's that. Problems wise, there is a little bit, I've defeated my pink cotton candy fluffy algae. Mexican turbo snails have just stripped the whole lot, apart from what's left on the hystrix, the pink hystrix. They can't get to that, but that's slowly reducing and starving itself out slowly, I might add very slowly. That coral is still in bad shape, but I haven't given up on it. I'm hoping it'll recover. But say I'll go into that when I do a close-up. What else have we got to cover? That's about it really. Basically, what I'm going to do now, what are we, 19 minutes in, I'm going to upload this video, and then obviously part 2 will be a close-up on everything in the tank, and review of how everything's going and growing. So I'm still getting used to this camera. I'm not used to doing these updates with this tripod. So what I'm going to do is stop the video now and do an upload and do a part 2. So check out part 2 in a minute. Cheers folks.